In lesson 23, we're going to introduce circles in geometry, and you've probably learned circles in past math classes before, but just so we know for our formulas, just a reminder, a radius, the definition of a radius is a line segment from the center of the circle to an endpoint on a circle. Center of a circle to an endpoint anywhere on the circle. So this is a radius, this could be a radius. The main thing is it has to get to the center of the circle. A diameter is a line segment at two endpoints of the circle, like so, but it cuts through the center. Cuts through the center. That's an example of a diameter. And so what we can conclude from this is that a diameter equals 2 times radius, or 2 radius. Radii is actually the proper word. But 2 radius is equivalent to a diameter. So now let's look at some formulas for a circle. First one we're going to look at is circumference. Now people get lost at the word circumference. Circumference is simply finding the perimeter of a circle. Your formula for circumference is circumference equals 2 times pi times radius, or you could actually we could conclude circumference equals pi times d, since we know that 2 radius equals diameter. I generally prefer this one. This is Stu's choice. So that's what I'm going to often use when we do circle problems. So it says in example 2, find the circumference of this circle, and it gives us a radius of 14 inches. So if this is our radius, well, that's our only variable we need, radius. So we plug it in. C equals 2 times pi times 14. So 2 times 14 is 28 pi. And in the example, it actually says use 3.14 for pi. So we're going to do 28 times 3.14, and then it wants us to round to the nearest hundredth. So you have to put that in your calculator. 28 times 3.14 and get 87.92 and inches. It refers to perimeter, so it's just inches. It's not inches squared or anything like that. 87.92 inches. That's circumference. Now let's look at area. The formula for area, no, just a reminder, area is everything inside the circle. Area is pi r squared. So example 3a gives us a circle like this, and with the radius of 2, radius equals 2. So we would simply, in our formula of pi r squared, we would do area equals pi, plug the 2 in with parentheses, r squared. So pi times 2 squared. So we square the 2. We get area equals 4 pi. And in this problem, I didn't write down the whole thing, but it says use 3.14 for pi. So we're going to plug in 3.14 because that's kind of a shortened version of pi, and then round to the nearest hundredth. So when you multiply, you would get 12.56 meters squared. It's area, so we do meters squared. One more example, just because I could see this being confusing. It gives us 26 inches, but this is outside the circle. And it wants us to find it. Well, what this is a diameter, because it's going from one endpoint of the circle to another, and we could just move it here and show that it cuts in the center, because it goes to 2 opposite endpoints. So this is 26. However, in the formula for area, we need radius. So what would the radius be in this circle? Well, the radius is just the diameter divided by 2. So your radius equals 13. And now we can plug that in and solve. Area equals pi 13 squared. And 13 squared is 169 pi. Once again, it wants us to plug in 3.14 and round to the nearest hundredth. And when we do that, put that in our calculator, we would get roughly 530.66, I don't know the measurement, inches squared. And that would be our area. That is how you do, or that is just kind of an introduction to circles.